Coming up on Levi Trumbull Reporting.
What are you telling me to do?
I'm not telling you, I'm asking you.
What are you asking me?
I'm asking you to not return to the meeting when it comes back from recess.
So look, I'm going to go back into my open public meeting. What are you going to do at that point in time? Are you going to ask me to leave under threat of arrest at that point in time?
I'm going to ask you to leave all that.
We may very well just leave and come out here and look like idiots and talk about how this is completely illegal and you're going along with it. I'm going right back in because you haven't said you're going to arrest me or that I've done anything illegal. I don't want to commit a crime. Tell me if I'm committing a crime. Have I committed a crime today?
Not yet.
Okay, are you asking me to leave?
I am now asking.
You were asking me to leave. Okay.
All right, guys, what's happening? Levi Trumbull reporting outside of the Washington County Government Building. This is where they hold the commissioners meeting. Shaun Porter, First Amendment activist, is banned from this public building. Now, let me just say for the record, he is a resident of Washington County. He is a taxpayer here in Washington County, but Shaun Porter cannot come to this building where they hold public meetings to participate in government. They have trespassed him. They have banned him from this building. This is a public building. He hasn't committed a crime as far as I understand, but they have issued him a letter, and they're using this issued letter as a weapon against him.
They will not allow me to observe government. They will not allow me to speak or participate in government. And they don't want me to know what's going on, all because of my sharp criticism of government. And just so you know, I broke no rules. Yeah. They wrote a rules of decorum just for me. The first thing they did was they cut the live feed, so I started broadcasting from my phone. Then they started, they got 3 peace orders against me in the name of employees pretending they were afraid of my criticism of John Barr. That didn't work. I beat their ass. So then the next day I got sued for $10 million for a political yard sign that John Barr didn't like to try and keep me from going to public meetings. That didn't work. I went to the next public meeting and they had these fake rules of decorum that were not voted on. They were not passed as an ordinance. Basically, John Barr just said, these are our new rules and here you go. And they're insane. They say you got to check with the FCC, YouTube, and Facebook community standards, which are 640 pages long, to find out what you can say during the 3-minute public comment period. Every time I show up, they close down and they scatter like the cockroaches that they are into all the orifices of the county commissioners building.
Pledge. Unfortunately, we go through this every week. Mr. Porter, you've been given notice. You're not to be here. Please leave. Mr. Porter, I'm going to ask one more time, politely. You've been asked to leave these meetings because of your disruptive conduct. I'm asking you to please leave now. Choosing not to, clear the room, please. I want everybody to leave these chambers to allow the short order.
For the record, the officer did not ask me to leave.
There's no orders made.
Mr. Porter, good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. I have to say who I am. I'm Lieutenant James Graham with the Washington County Sheriff's Department. My ID number is 4559, and there'll be an audio and video recorded, okay?
Okay.
All right. The meeting's been in recess when it reconvenes. He's asked you to not return to the meeting, so I'm asking you to not return to the meeting.
Is that a lawful order? Could you give me a lawful order?
I'm asking you to
As a favor?
No, I'm just asking you as a result of the meeting, what they asked you to do because of the order they've issued.
The illegal trespass, which violates my First Amendment, my 14th Amendment rights, as well as my right to due process of law and the Open Meetings Act codified in state law. Okay, so in violation of all that, are you asking me or are they asking me?
I'm asking on behalf of them. I'm asking you.
So is the Washington County Sheriff's Office going to arrest me if I go back into an open public meeting?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
How can you say that?
Because I'm asking you right now. We're just trying to project in the future. I'm asking you in this moment.
I'm asking you in this moment, if I go back into my open public meeting that I paid for with my tax dollars, are you going to arrest me and violate my civil rights?
It depends.
Well, what does it depend on for me to get my civil rights violated?
I'm asking you now so we don't have to cross that bridge.
Oh, no. I need to know on video I need to hear you as an authorized agent of the Washington County Sheriff's Office to please articulate why I would get arrested for entering an open public meeting in public property without causing an active disruption. Because if you know, the Maryland Criminal Code on trespass from public property requires there to be an actual disturbance being conducted at the time of the trespass. You do know that.
I do know that.
And you do know that you cannot trespass someone from public property into the future if they have lawful purpose.
Okay.
That's what Maryland Criminal Code says. So what are you telling me to do?
I'm not telling you. I'm asking you.
What are you asking me?
I'm asking you to not return to the meeting when it comes back from recess.
Under the threat of arrest?
I wouldn't go that far. I'm asking you.
Well, no, I need you to go that far because I've got you on video. Don't worry.
Okay.
So look, if I go into my open public meeting, what are you going to do?
I would assume that when they bring it back to order, they'll call it into recess, and then we'll repeat the same process.
Oh, so you're not going to arrest me for not doing anything illegal?
That's a good point.
Seriously, I've done nothing illegal. Did you see a disruption in there? I didn't say a word.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I'm facilitating what they have. They've issued you a trespass order.
Which is completely unlawful. Otherwise, you'd be enforcing it right now instead of just begging me not to go back in.
Well, I'm not begging you. I'm asking you. It's two different things.
Okay. So look, I'm going to go back into my open public meeting. What are you going to do at that point in time? Are you going to ask me to leave under threat of arrest at that point in time?
I'm going to ask you to leave.
You're going to ask me to leave the second time? Because you didn't the first time.
No, they went into recess. There was no need to. We just cleared the room.
Okay. So what's going to happen the next time?
The next time we go in, we may very well just repeat the same process.
We may very well just leave and come out here and look like idiots and talk about how this is completely illegal and you're going along with it.
Well, no, I'm not going along with it. I'm just here for the meeting.
You're not going along with it?
That's their decisions. I don't make those decisions.
Okay. So anyway, back to the whole thing. I'm going to go back in there and you're going to ask me to leave.
Potentially, yes.
Okay. And if you ask me to leave, that point in time, I have to leave or I will be arrested. Is that what you're telling me on video?
I'm asking you to leave. We'll get there.
Okay. We'll get there. Okay. So.
Fair enough.
I'm going right back in because you haven't said you're going to arrest me or that I've done anything illegal. I don't want to commit a crime. Tell me if I'm committing a crime. Have I committed a crime today?
Not yet.
Well, what crime? When would I be committing a crime? Because I want to make sure I don't break any laws.
I'm not sure because they know we're projecting into the future. We're in the moment right now.
So let's talk about not what ifs. I'm going to walk back into my open public meeting in public property without causing a disruption pursuant to my First Amendment, my 14th Amendment rights, and the Open Meetings Act, which requires them to allow the public to attend and forbids exactly what's going on here. This case is at the Attorney General's office as we speak, and it's going to federal court as your department has already been informed through an LGTCA notice. Now, I'm going to go back into my open public meeting. And are you going to ask me to leave?
Yes.
Okay. At that point in time, I have to leave or I would get arrested.
Potentially.
Potentially.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go back in there. I'm going to wait for you to ask me to leave. You ask me to leave, then you're going to arrest me.
No, not necessarily.
Okay. Okay. Am I breaking the law by going back into my open public meeting right now?
By just walking in and sitting down?
Correct.
After we call recess and we call the meeting back to order?
Correct.
At that point, I'm not getting involved in it. I'm just facilitating what the commissioners are doing. So you would, from their order, you would be trespassing.
Oh, so I would commit a crime if I go back in there now?
No. So they're going to call the meeting back to order.
Okay.
You've expressed your intentions. You would like to go back in.
I would like to attend my open public meeting and participate in government as protected by my First Amendment and 14th Amendment rights, just like the rest of these people.
Right. So then I would...
Which you're supposed to uphold, by the way.
I'm projecting that they will just repeat the same process. And then we'll go to recess, and then you'll be asked to leave the meeting. Not only like anyone else.
So everyone got asked to leave the meeting, not just me?
Well, because when they went in recess.
Because they went in recess?
Yes.
Okay. So we go back in, and I sit down. I'm not committing a crime.
Or you're asking me that?
I'm asking you because, it would be entrapment if you allow me to walk back in there without telling me that I'd be committing a crime by walking back in and sitting down.
Where we run into it is this, is I'm asking you because of the trespass order to not go back.
Which is not legal, and your boss said on video and audio that he was not going to enforce.
Okay. But that's what I'm asking.
On Tuesday, May 13th at the MVA.
Okay.
In front of 4 witnesses and a blinking body camera that recorded him.
Okay.
In a public lobby, so it's not wiretapping.
Okay.
Okay. So again, If I walk back in there and sit down to my open public meeting, what's going to happen? Will I be committing a crime by doing that?
Potentially.
Potentially committing a crime by going back in there now?
Well, once we bring it back into session, right now we're in recess.
Okay.
Okay. When it's in session, they're going to go through the process of the meeting. Yes, you potentially could be.
I potentially could be.
Yes.
Not good. You're telling me I'm going to go to jail for attending.
No.
What happened to you the last time you came to a public meeting?
I got arrested during recess. How's that even fair?
Unbelievable. I mean, most of the time you're supposed to be able to play on the jungle gym during recess. This guy gets arrested.
I got arrested during recess because if you looked at the live meeting feed, it said we were still in recess. That's why no one got to witness me being arrested on video on the internet.
Right.
That's ridiculous. We're still in recess. Why ain't you in cuffs?
Aha. So why'd you treat him differently than me? Why am I not arrested?
His situation is a different situation.
All he did was tell the truth about John Barr being an accused, which is court record. So he literally had court record in his hands and was discussing it, and they threw him in jail for telling the truth.
Verbatim.
He literally just read it.
I read it.
He just read about the allegations of John Barr.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, so let's go back to this. So you're going to arrest me when I walk in there?
No.
Okay. When am I committing a crime? I need to know. Okay. You need to articulate this to me, otherwise it's entrapment, because I'm very confused because you're doing things that are illegal. The county is doing things that are illegal. The Attorney General told me that I'm free to go in there and stand there, and you're telling me that expert John Barr accused is actually a smarter lawyer than Assistant Attorney General Keenan, our state's attorney, your boss. They're all stupid, but John Barr is right?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
They're going to call the meeting back to order. And
Okay.
Bring it back to order. If you decide to come in, they probably will repeat the process based on...
Probably?
Probably.
What is the alternative to probably? Because I need to know.
They may just cancel the entire meeting.
Why would they cancel the entire meeting because of a citizen wanting to observe government in accordance with his First and 14th Amendment rights and the Open Meetings Act?
Well, you fully understand I can't answer that.
Well, I know that you're not a lawyer because most lawyers don't have guns. However, I'm asking you as a law enforcement officer, if I go back in there and sit there, will I be charged with a crime?
There has to be a process. Absolutely not just sitting there.
Okay, so I can go back in and sit there. I'm not getting charged.
For sitting there, no. But once you're asked to leave the meeting in regards to the trespass order that they issued to you, then it's
the fictitious one, that's illegal.
I'm not here to argue that. What I'm saying is that once you go through those processes and we ask you to leave.
So you're going to ask me to leave again before I could possibly face criminal prosecution. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay, so you're telling me I can go back in there, and if you ask me to leave, I have to leave.
I'm asking you to leave.
You're asking me to leave now?
No, I would ask.
Are we already at that bridge?
Yeah, I'm asking you there.
You're going to ask me in there?
Yes.
After the meeting's called back to order?
Yes.
So this next time we go back in, the cops are going to ask me to leave an open public meeting in violation of my First Amendment, 14th Amendment, and, of course, the Open Meetings Act.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I'm doing it in regards to what the commissioners have done, which is issued you a trespass order.
Now, you know that it's not legal. What are you going to do when I go back in there? Again, I'm asking you, if I go back in there and sit down, am I going to be charged with a crime?
You're asking me if you go back in and sit down.
Yes.
If you're going to be charged for a crime for sitting down.
Yes, for sitting down in an open public meeting on public property without causing a disruption.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. This is vague and ambiguous, sir. I need the truth from you.
I'm giving you the truth.
If I go back in there and sit down in my open public meeting to watch my government, am I going to be charged with a crime?
If you're asked to leave for the trespassing order, we would ask you to comply with leaving the meeting, correct?
At that point in time?
Yes. If you're asked to leave.
So I'm good to go. I can go right back in there, and I'm not in any jeopardy of criminal prosecution until you ask me to leave, and I don't the next time.
Correct.
Okay, let's do this again. You just told me that I'm not precluded from going back in there and sitting down and observing my government and letting them violate my rights again on camera.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go in there and let you guys violate my rights yet again on camera.
Well, it's still in recess, so we can't go back yet.
Okay, well, when they reconvene,
okay,
I'm going to go back in there and sit down, and then you're going to ask me to leave under color of law, right?
Hold on. Okay. So they will reference the order again, the trespass
which is
order.
fake.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're going to reference that again. Then they're going to ask you to comply and leave the meeting. And then at some point, I will probably ask you to leave.
And at that point in time, I have to do what you tell me to because you're the guy with the gun.
Not necessarily. Okay. Just because I have a gun doesn't mean you have to do what I'm asking you to do.
Well, Curtis Ray fucking proved that. You got arrested last time. Jesus.
That's on my rap sheet.
There is a distinct difference between us just having a conversation and I'm asking you to do things, and then when you go to what is considered a lawful order.
Okay.
They're two different things.
So I'm making sure I stay out of legal jeopardy, and
Okay.
you're my shepherd, mother. So you're gonna tell me that I can go back in there and sit down, but you're gonna but you're gonna ask me to leave at a certain point in time.
Right. I can't. I'm not going to just stop you from going in there.
Okay.
Sitting down.
But
And
you're
then
going to come and ask me next time, right? With the blue
once
uniform.
they ask you.
Once they ask, then you're going to come over
And if you,
and you're going to do it on video.
Say you're sorry for that remark.
So-
I'm sorry for that remark, Stephanie.
Very
So,
much. Him,
they will
not me.
ask you.
Thank you.
Praise Jesus.
I'll transfer that to the officer.
they will ask you,
That was a good step in your direction.
and then there will be a point where I will ask you.
Okay, and that's when I leave. I have to
Well,
leave
I'm
when
asking
you.
you to comply.
Okay, so when you ask me to leave, I have to leave. That's what you're telling me. So I'm good to go up until that point.
Yes.
Criminally, I'm good to go up until you ask me to leave, because at that point you're making a determination of law.
I'm not making a determination of law. I'm acting on the order they've issued, the trespass order.
You're a slippery son of a bitch, you know that. So all right, so I can go back in there, but if you ask me to leave, I gotta go.
I would like that.
Okay. If you ask me to leave on video with your uniform and your gun, I'm going to comply with your lawful order.
I appreciate that.
Okay, because I don't violate lawful orders. And if you want to give me a lawful order to leave my open public meeting when I'm just sitting there, by all means, give me one. Just do it on video, sir.
Yes, sir.
All righty.
Fair enough.
Excellent, sir.
Can I turn this off, please?
You're welcome. Yeah. Excuse me, ma'am. I won't be here very long.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I call our meeting to order, Mr. Porter, once again, I'm going to nicely ask you to leave. You were served the no trespass letter on April the 8th for 6 months, and we continue to do this. So I'm going to ask you to leave now.
Mr. Porter.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant James Graham with the Sheriff's Department.
Hi, Lieutenant Graham.
Thank you. My ID number is 4559, and the body camera's on, so you're being audio and visually.
Awesome.
Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the commissioners, on behalf of the commissioners, the presiding officer has referenced a trespass order, and he's asked you to leave.
Okay. Are you asking me to leave?
I am now asking you.
You were asking me to leave. Okay. Well, you're a nice guy. I'm going to do what you say. But he's an accused, so I'm not going to listen to him. And the trespass order is illegal as fuck. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.